Court does call the case of Pip State of Michigan versus Peter Heenan.
This is not just another courtroom hearing. This is the unraveling of a man at the edge. Welcome to a case that exposes the fragile line between accountability and collapse, between justice and desperation. We're talking about Peter Heenan, a man once sober for 16 years, now spiraling in a courtroom drama filled with emotional breakdowns, addiction struggles, and haunting admissions. From rehab stints to hidden alcohol binges, and from therapy excuses to deeply personal losses, what unfolds here is raw, real, and painfully revealing. The presiding Judge Simpson, he's sharp, unflinching, and clearly done with the excuses. But is he also trying to save Heenan from himself? As the court dives into relapse timelines, prescription cover-ups, and questionable treatment claims, this hearing becomes less about legal procedure and more about human failure and the glimmer of redemption. Will the court let him walk? Will a scram tether fix anything? Or are we looking at a man moments away from disappearing under the weight of his own choices? Brace yourself. This isn't just a bond hearing. It's a slow-motion crash, with the judge gripping the wheel and a life hanging in the balance.
Nicole, you somebody have people?
Right here. Nope. So, other side. There you go. Short counsel.
Good afternoon, Judge. Jackie Mossbohr, and on behalf of Mr. Heenan, who is present to my right. And John Shea, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. Mr. Heenan, and the record should reflect just to briefly set it out that while we were waiting for the courtroom change, I had a bench conference with counsel, and given those discussions, Mr. Heenan was, prior to calling his case, sent over to community corrections to obtain a scram tether and also to take a full panel drug test. Went over, did that, came back a 0.10 on a PBT, could not have the scram tether put on because of that. And also came back in terms of his drug testing with a possible dilution in terms of the creatinine level.
This is the first major red flag. The scram tether, an ankle monitor that detects alcohol consumption, couldn't even be applied because Peter Heenan arrived to get it while still registering a 0.10 on a breathalyzer. That's legally intoxicated. Think about that for a second. The very tool designed to prevent relapse couldn't be deployed because the subject was actively relapsing. This moment tells us that Heenan is not just struggling, he's barely functioning in the system that's trying to help him. It also signals the judge's early frustration. Heenan didn't just fall off the wagon, he showed up to his own tether appointment under the influence. There's no wiggle room here, no plausible denial. The facts hit hard, and Judge Simpson knows this isn't just an error. It's a pattern, one that can't be ignored if public safety and personal recovery are both on the line.
Came back positive for benzos, and came back for positives on benzos. Sir, you take Zoloft?
I do, sir.
All right. How long have you had that prescription?
Just started last night. I've taken it before, but I was in jail for 6 days, so I had to stop. And so then I started again. Sorry. The new script is from 2 days ago. Sorry.
Hold on. You got a prescription for Zoloft 2 days ago?
Yes, Your Honor. I did. So rehab, I was in treatment, and they gave me a packet of Zoloft. So I've been using that, but I needed more. So I called my primary care doctor, and he prescribed, I think, 30.
This is where the excuses start stacking, and Judge Simpson begins poking holes. Peter claims the Zoloft he tested positive for was legally prescribed. Fair enough, but he can't seem to keep his timeline straight. First, he says it was from treatment, then corrects himself and says he just got it 2 days ago. If you've ever heard someone fumble under pressure, this is what it sounds like. The issue here isn't just the drug test, it's the inconsistency. The court doesn't just test for substances, it tests credibility. And the more Peter speaks, the more uncertain the timeline gets. Treatment centers, leftover meds, new prescriptions, vague dates. The judge is clearly clocking every detail. Because if you can't trust someone to report their own medication honestly, how can you trust them with a conditional release? And viewers, what do you think? Is Peter just overwhelmed, or is this calculated confusion?
Okay, you had that prescription filled.
Yes, Your Honor. And
So,
delivered.
hold on. I just need to back up for a moment because I'm trying to find out where you are right now and have a greater understanding. You were in rehab. When did you get out of rehab?
May 12th, I believe.
Okay. And when you got out of rehab, you had Zoloft.
Yes, they send you home with a 30-day supply.
And so at some point, then you ran out.
No, I still have some, but I needed to call my doctor anyway and tell him about this. And so I asked for a refill.
Okay. All right. Where were you in treatment?
West Palm Beach in, it's called Hanley. It's a very good treatment center.
To what?
A very, very good treatment center.
Peter Heenan name drops Hanley, describing it as a very, very good treatment center, and it might be, but a quality facility means nothing if the patient doesn't follow through. Judge Simpson isn't interested in the Yelp review. He wants to know what Peter actually did after discharge. That's where this hearing pivots, from what looks good on paper to what actually happened in real life. This whole section exposes a common breakdown in post-rehab accountability. People leave treatment with a structured aftercare plan, and then just stop. Peter admits he was supposed to enroll in a local IOP intensive outpatient program through the University of Michigan. But one missed appointment, boom, he's locked out for 6 months. So what did he do instead? Nothing. And this isn't just a legal misstep, it's a personal one. In court, intentions don't matter nearly as much as actions. He had a lifeline. He let go.
How long were you there?
I was originally 30 days, but I extended to 45 voluntarily.
Was there aftercare that was to follow that?
There was. So I have a therapist. The University of Michigan IOP can't take me for 6 months because I missed
Okay.
an appointment, and that's,
Because you missed an appointment with them?
yes, and that's their policy.
Yeah. So since you missed that, have you been doing anything? Because you were supposed to go and do intensive outpatient,
Yes.
right? So at the point that you're supposed to go into intensive outpatient, you find out that you can't get in at U of M. What do you do?
So I have SoberLink, and my kids have a GAL. So I'm required to do multiple AA meetings a day.
Okay, but I get that. But in terms of an IOP, I mean, sorry. But go ahead if you want to talk.
The answer is not being. Oh, I've reached out to Brighton. They have an IOP program. It's on Zoom now, and I think
you get enrolled.
I can.
Well, no. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. All right. And so I'm asking you these questions for a reason. I'm not asking you to try to trick you into anything. I'm just trying to figure out, like I said, where you are.
Sure.
So you get out of treatment. Part of the aftercare on the treatment program that you're in is that you were supposed to get yourself into an IOP, right?
Your Honor, that was part of the condition, also the sober link and one AA meeting a day.
Hold on. On whose condition?
Oh, the treatment center's recommendation.
Okay. You got me a little bit lost here. You go into the treatment center in Florida. You come out. They're basically, upon discharging you or releasing you from that, they're putting into place or give you a plan, an aftercare plan, right?
Yep.
Part of that aftercare plan was you were to get yourself into intensive outpatient treatment,
Yes, sir.
right? Their recommendation was something here local at University of Michigan, right?
Yes, sir.
You were supposed to call them, but missed that somehow and or another. And then as per their policy, you can't get in for a while.
6 months.
Right. After all that happens, what do you do instead of, I want to put it that way. What do you then do? Nothing? You didn't get yourself into any type of treatment program, is that right?
This is where Judge Simpson starts pressing hard. After laying out Peter's entire rehab and failed IOP timeline, the judge hits him with the simplest question: what did you do instead? And the answer: nothing. Nothing substantial anyway. Peter says he found a therapist. Great. But that's not what he was supposed to do. The court isn't looking for feel-good alternatives. It's looking for compliance with a medically and legally recommended path. Missing the IOP appointment was unfortunate, but Peter's failure wasn't in missing it. It was in not adapting, not seeking a serious replacement. Instead, he leaned on what he thought was best: some Zoom sessions, some AA meetings, and a whole lot of hope. This is a turning point, because Judge Simpson isn't just evaluating past decisions. He's measuring Peter's mindset, and it's becoming painfully clear Peter didn't take the hard road. He took the one that looked like effort, but didn't require real change.
I found a therapist, and no, I did not find an IOP.
Okay. Let me just ask you, and I won't hold you to it only because I know you've been drinking, but why didn't you do that? Honest answer.
Sometimes I feel like AA is more effective because I've done an IOP program before and it's on Zoom. And sometimes I feel like AA and SoberLink is more helpful, especially in person AA.
Okay. Not yelling at you, but I'm just going to tell you, if you could figure it out yourself, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in right now, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is one of the rawest moments in the hearing. Judge Simpson strips away all pretense and hits the truth dead on. If you could figure it out yourself, you wouldn't be in this position. That line, that's the turning point. No more sugarcoating, no more circling the issue. The judge lays it out clearly. Peter's self-directed recovery plan isn't working. In fact, it's part of the problem. The judge even calls it what it is: the easier path. And he's right. Skipping IOPs, dodging structure, picking and choosing what feels best. None of that builds long-term sobriety. It builds loopholes. It builds failure. Peter's defense that he desperately wanted the Michigan IOP rings hollow when he admits he did nothing when it fell through. In this courtroom, actions speak louder than desperation. And Judge Simpson, he's holding the megaphone.
If it went just on your feelings of what you thought was best, we wouldn't be here dealing with this part of this, would we?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's why you have other people kind of guide you as to what you really need to do. I also have a feeling that the program that you laid out for yourself, while you think effective, is actually just easier than doing the IOP, because an IOP can be difficult.
I desperately wanted that Michigan ILP 9 to 1, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. and I just screwed it up.
Right. But then you also then didn't put anything in place once you had messed up.
Right.
And in fact, if you're going to be honest about it, the stuff that you put in place was just easier stuff so that you could say you're doing something.
That's fair, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it for a while. And that's why you weren't going to go into the IOP.
It was the easier path.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Heenan, let me ask you this. You blew a 1-0. When did you stop drinking? When's the last time you had a drink?
What follows is brutal honesty, and that's what makes it hit so hard. Peter confesses that he woke up shaking and immediately reached for alcohol. Not hours later, not after a breakdown, right after waking up. This isn't casual relapse. It's a physiological dependency. We're talking textbook withdrawal symptoms, tremors, desperation, the need to drink just to stabilize. And then comes the twist that would stop any viewer cold. He ordered alcohol via DoorDash at 7 a.m. That's not just addiction. That's planning. That's awareness. That's intent. Peter tries to soften the blow, claiming he only drank enough to stop the shakes. But when pressed, he admits he chugged a full 4-pack and even scavenged through empty cans looking for leftover sips. It's heartbreaking. It's disturbing. And it's proof that Judge Simpson's instincts were right. Peter isn't just slipping, he's spiraling.
So about 4, I woke up and my hands were shaking. So I drank some high noon. And then at
How
7,
much high noon did you have?
just enough till my hands stopped shaking.
Okay, what's that? Tell me what that means.
Like for me, it's like 4 to 6. And then at 7 this morning, when the liquor stores open, I had a DoorDash delivery of more high noon. And I drank again until my hands stopped shaking.
And how much did you have that time?
Your Honor, honestly, I just kept drinking until my hands stopped shaking. It was a 4-pack.
Okay, it was a 4-pack.
High noon comes in 4-pack.
Right. And so did you drink them all?
Oh yeah,
Okay. And how long did that take you?
I chugged.
Okay. So that DoorDash delivery at 7, that was the last you had?
Yes, and my hands were shaking, so I've got a bunch of empties, and this is how desperate I was. I would pick up all the empties on my table and see if there were sips. And there was one that was like that full, and I chugged that as well. It wasn't.
What? Hold on.
Sorry.
What time did you do that?
It was between 7 and 8 because I knew I had this coming.
Okay.
I didn't want to come in under the influence.
So at 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock till I don't know what time we first called your case. Well, when you went over to community corrections, so that was around 3 o'clock, maybe somewhere around there. Between 8 and 3, did you have anything to drink?
No, Your Honor. It was 2:30 at community corrections.
Okay, at 2:30. But so from when you chugged that half to 2:30, you didn't have anything to drink.
No, Your Honor. Last night I drank quite a bit though. I lost my boys in a dispute, and I've been on a bender.
This is where the personal pain bleeds through the legal drama. Peter admits he's been on a bender, not just a bad night, but a sustained, consuming dive into alcohol. Why? Because he lost his boys. This isn't just about court orders or rehab violations. It's about grief, guilt, and emotional implosion. You can feel the weight in his voice. Divorce, lost custody, job resignation, every pillar of stability in his life, gone, and what fills the void? 15 White Claws, more high noon, and the faint hope that court will somehow offer redemption. But here's what's chilling. Peter drove himself to court that morning, after binge drinking the night before. That's not just risky, that's dangerous, and Judge Simpson knows it. These details will influence everything that comes next.
Okay. So, Mr. Heenan, I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm trying to figure out where you are and trying to, when you say you've been on a bender, what were you drinking the night before and how much?
White Claw. I drank, gosh, probably 15.
Okay. And that would have been last night sometime. When you say that you stopped about 4, you said, or something like that?
I woke up at 4.
You woke up at 4. So yesterday you were drinking White Claw. You had about 15
Yes, Your Honor.
for over just that day, that evening?
All day, yeah.
Okay. And at some point, you stopped drinking. Either you passed out or you just stopped.
Yeah, no, I
You
felt
probably passed out.
passed out, Your Honor.
Yeah. And then you woke up at 4.
Yep.
And then you needed something else.
Yeah, my hands were
Right. I get why. But you needed something else, and that's when you got the other stuff. Or you already had that.
I already had it.
Okay.
I had White Claw and High Noon. And usually when I'm sober, I'm a fit person. I run marathons and stuff. So High Noon and White Claw are the lowest calorie drinks.
Okay. And so then you switched to the High Noon and you did that, right?
Chugged them.
You're Heenan. Do you think you're in trouble? I mean, just not with the court. I'm not talking about with the court, but just with you and your sobriety.
The judge cuts right to the soul. He's not asking about jail time or bond violations. He's asking if Peter sees the truth that his sobriety is hanging by a thread. And Peter's response? I do. It's honest. It's painful. And it's probably the first real moment of self-awareness we've seen so far. The line that hits the hardest, I had 16 years of sobriety. That's a lifetime for many in recovery. And to lose that, to start again from zero, that's devastation on a different scale. Judge Simpson isn't being cruel. He's being real. Because the real danger isn't relapse. It's denial. And for once, Peter isn't dodging. He's admitting. And maybe, just maybe, that's where change can begin.
I do. I have 16 years of sobriety. So I know I can do it. I'm just having a hard time right now with this divorce and losing the kids. And just life is hard right now. I had to resign my job I loved. It's just been rough.
Okay, so right now you're also not working.
I had to resign to go to treatment.
All right. So here's what I'm just going to let you know that you're going to be staying at the Washington County Jail, temporarily revoke your bond. Okay. Now, I'm not doing that necessarily as a punishment, but I have no way to release you and keep the community nor you safe.
This isn't a punishment, it's a rescue mission. Judge Simpson revokes Peter's bond not out of spite, but out of necessity. He sees the writing on the wall. If Peter walks out today, he might not survive the night. This is what courtroom compassion looks like when it's wrapped in steel. The judge isn't here to coddle. He's here to save a man who's drowning and doesn't even realize how deep he's gone. Think about what this means. The court system, often seen as cold, procedural, rigid, is the only thing holding Peter back from self-destruction. It's a stunning reversal. Jail isn't the danger, freedom is.
Okay? And I'll just ask you this. You're going to come back tomorrow, okay? And I'm going to set that for 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. When you come back, and I may ask you this tomorrow, but I want to know right now, what would you like to see happen right now for you?
I would like it to scram, tether, and start taking antabuse.
Okay, Mr. Heenan, is that what you really would like to see happen?
I need some accountability, yes.
This is the moment Peter tries to take ownership. He says it, I need some accountability, but Judge Simpson doesn't let him off easy. Why? Because talk is cheap, especially in recovery. Peter's request for a scram tether and antabuse sounds proactive, but to the judge it reeks of another shortcut, another easy path that avoids the real work. Because antabuse won't stop you from drinking if you never take the pill, and a scram tether, it only reports drinking, it doesn't prevent it. That's the heart of Judge Simpson's frustration. These tools are meaningless without commitment, and right now Peter's actions haven't shown enough of it, not yet.
Okay, but you also need some help.
Right. I agree. I do have a sponsor.
Have you called your sponsor? No, you haven't. Hold it. Answer my question. Have you called your sponsor?
No, I was too embarrassed.
Yeah. And the reason that you want the scram and the antabuse is because those are sort of easy things that I can do out of sight. Okay. You don't have to answer that.
Okay.
Okay, because I know what's going on. I've been doing this a minute. Okay. Between now and tomorrow morning, here's the thing that you're going to have to do. You're going to need to do the hard work. This isn't going to be easy. And you have to get in your head, because you've done it before, but you have to get in your head that there's not going to be an easy path. This is going to be a hard path for you. And I think you really do know that inside. You just don't want it to come out. People don't come to me whenever they're before me and ask me, give me a hard way to go, Judge. They don't do that, right? So I'm not expecting you to necessarily say that to me. I'm just telling you, this isn't going to be this easy path, this shortcut.
Here, the judge delivers one of the most profound truths in recovery. There is no easy path. Peter needs to feel that, understand it, live it, because the illusion of shortcuts has kept him trapped. The judge knows Peter's been through treatment before. He knows Peter can do it. But he also knows Peter's brain is still searching for loopholes, for workarounds that feel like progress, but cost him nothing. This isn't a courtroom anymore. This is a man-to-man talk, one that thousands of recovering addicts can relate to. You can't cheat the process. You have to suffer. You have to push. You have to want it more than you want relief.
And you got to wrap your head around that, right? You just have to understand that. So we're going to try to get something in place for you, because let me put it this way. If I let you out right now, you don't make it through the night without drinking. And you know that.
Not with a scram.
I could put that scram on you. You're going to drink.
I spent.
No, you're going to drink.
Okay.
That scram is not a magic bullet. It's not going to stop you. The only thing that scram is going to do, quite frankly, where you are, the only thing the scram's going to do is just tell on you.
This is where the judge exposes the illusion. The scram tether, often seen as a safety net, won't save Peter. It's not a treatment. It's a tattletale. It won't stop a single drink. It just reports the ones that already happened. And Judge Simpson makes it crystal clear. If Peter had 15 White Claws pounded high noons and still needed more, a bracelet won't break that pattern. Addiction doesn't fear monitoring. It evades it. This is a wake-up call, not just for Peter, but for everyone watching. Sobriety isn't about tracking devices. It's about choices. Real, gut-wrenching choices. And until Peter starts making better ones, nothing will change.
It's not going to stop you from drinking. Realize that you pounded down 15 White Claws, and then you did 4, then that wasn't enough, and you had to call somebody to bring you more alcohol. Do you think a thing around your ankle is going to stop you after that? No, it's not.
Jail was really hard for me.
I know.
So that alone would stop me.
For a while.
I understand.
But you're going to go tonight. And then we're going to see you tomorrow morning. And Mr. Heenan, you'll never, or maybe one day you'll understand it. I'm not doing it to be mean. I don't want to lose you. And I know if I let you out of here, there's a good chance we're going to lose you.
This line will haunt you. There's a good chance we're going to lose you. Judge Simpson isn't bluffing. He's looking at a man on the verge of dying, not from violence, not from crime, but from himself. The court isn't supposed to feel this emotional, but here it does. You can hear the judge's voice crack with genuine concern. He doesn't want another statistic. He doesn't want Peter's name in a coroner's file. This isn't justice. It's triage. And this line, it's not a threat. It's a plea.
Thank you.
Our class conference will be adjourning. I'll just also call it a bond hearing. What is tomorrow, the 3rd? July 3rd, 2024 at 10 a.m. At this time, the bond is revoked. Just reset it tomorrow. Thank you. Calls the case, People versus Peter Heenan.
Prosecuting attorney, Rose, on behalf of people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jackie Moss on behalf of Mr. Heenan, who is approaching.
All right. How are you doing, Mr. Heenan?
Doing okay, Your Honor.
Okay. Where are we on this? Did we get any update on Bear River?
Your Honor, in regards to, pardon me, in regards to Bear River, yes, the update is Bear River can have Mr. Heenan admitted within 24 to 48 hours. However, they would require the referral from CMH. That was not able to take place yesterday because CMH said they required an order from Your Honor before
For CMH to evaluate him?
Yes. With that being said, my understanding is that in custody evaluations take place twice per week on Wednesdays and on Fridays. So if they received an order today, they could potentially get to him on Friday. If not, then it'll be into next week.
Okay.
With that being said, my position would be that where we left off yesterday, Your Honor was entertaining the idea of releasing Mr. Heenan on a scram tether. If the court is inclined to do so at this time, upon release, Mr. Heenan would be able to call the CMH hotline and immediately be evaluated. It's a 20 to 30-minute phone interview process, and then Mr. Heenan could continue with the admittance process with either Bear River or Mr. Heenan did mention another facility, Liberty Treatment, which is in Fayette, Michigan, Your Honor.
People have a position on this.
Your Honor, ultimately, I think we would defer to the court's discretion. The people really want to make sure that Mr. Heenan gets into treatment as soon as possible. I just ask that we set him up for success as best we can. So if we are going to release him on a scram, I ask that council help him get situated with making that call to CMH, so that he's not left on his own to do that without any assistance in case he needs it.
I would definitely be willing to do so, Your Honor. And one other thing I wanted to apprise the court, there are a few matters that Mr. Heenan would need to get in order in terms of personal affairs, primarily his rent, and actually more importantly, as a part of the settlement agreement in his divorce, he's ordered to pay the tuition for his son's private school. That payment is due on or before July 10th. Mr. Heenan does not have his credit card information with him. All of that is at home. So in order to be able to comply with that, that is another reason that we are asking that Mr. Heenan be allowed on scram tether.
Mr. Heenan, when you're out, who helps with just your support around you? I mean, what other people are around you?
I don't have much support, just AA.
And that you've been doing via Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, because here's part of my issue. Council's going to only be able to take you so far. So yeah, get you out, get the call made, but then you're there. And I understand that you've got the tether on, you would have the scram unit on, but all that may tell me is that you're going to, that you drank. I'm just real concerned. I mean, I'm just gonna be blunt about it. I don't know how you make it, even if for a day or two. I just don't know how you make it. That's my problem. And I think you know that too. Am I right?
Your Honor, I can do this. I can do it. I know I can.
And I want to believe you. I'm not sure I do.
I'm having a hard time here. I don't ever want to come back to jail. I'm not a bad person.
Hey, say that. So that you understand, I don't think that you're a bad person either. I just don't. I'm more worried about you and what you do. That talk we had yesterday, I was kind of making that clear to you. That I'll be honest with you, I don't want you dying. That's what because eventually you're going to run out of opportunity and chances. And what weighs heavily on me, given what we went through that you past few days, is I could let you out on a scram tether and I never get you back.
For what it's worth, Your Honor, I did have a very frank and blunt conversation with Mr. Heenan and informed him that if the scram tether did indicate that there was consumption of alcohol, Mr. Heenan would very likely remain in custody for the pendency of his case.
Here's what I'm going to do. And you're not going to like it, Mr. Heenan, but I'm making the call. You're not going anywhere. I'll sign the order. He'll get assessed on Friday. and we're going to get you up to Bear River and start this process. We'll have to somehow or another figure out a way you'll be able to have your credit card at some point and get some information so that you can get that tuition paid and find a way to get your rent paid. But all of that, it's important. Those are important issues, but all of that pales in comparison to where this could be. Mr. Heenan, how'd you get here yesterday?
I drove.
Yeah. And I'm letting you know that that factors into my decision because, Mr. Heenan, by the time we got to you and you didn't drink while you were here, you were a 0.10. By the time we got you over to community corrections, and you had already been here a while.
This is the final nail in the bond coffin. The judge reveals the full timeline. Peter arrived at court early and was already intoxicated. By the time community corrections tested him, he still blew a 0.10. That's hours later. That means Peter wasn't just drinking the night before. He was likely still intoxicated while appearing before the court, and he drove himself there. Let that sink in. Judge Simpson doesn't even have to raise his voice. The facts are damning enough. He's not punishing Peter. He's protecting him and everyone around him from the consequences of Peter's own self-destruction.
It's that behavior that, and again, I'm not saying that you're a bad person, but your inability to make a proper judgment on that leads me to the conclusion that I have to keep you right where you are, get an order, get CMH to talk to you, and get you into treatment. So that's what I'm going to do. And counsel, somebody will need to prepare an order for the court signature to do that, because I don't. And I will sign it, and we'll get it there. So at this point, I'm just going to continue your bond as revoked. I'm not going to even set an amount at this point. And I will adjourn the probable cause out. Okay, why don't I do this so that, again, we don't lose track? I'll set it for the 11th.
Okay.
2024 at 9. And then if there becomes an issue, we can get to the prosecutor. We can step to do something else. Anything further?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good holiday.
This is the end of the line, not for the case, but for the illusion that Peter Heenan is in control. Judge Simpson adjourns the probable cause hearing, locks in the treatment plan, and refuses to release Heenan. Why? Because every fact, every action, every contradiction proves one thing. If Heenan walks today, he may not live to return. Let's recap. He showed up under the influence. He admitted to daily binge drinking, morning withdrawals, and scavenging for leftover alcohol. He mismanaged his aftercare, dodged IOP, and fumbled through timelines of prescriptions and rehab. And when asked directly, "Do you think you're in trouble with your sobriety?" he answered yes. This case wasn't just about compliance, it was about survival. Judge Simpson knew that, and in the face of excuses, sorrow, and relapse, he chose the hard path for Heenan, the path that might still save him. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.